So now we're going to take a look at our last set of trig formulas. The first are the product to sum formulas. So these formulas right here, these give us a way to express a product of two sines, a product of two cosines, or a product of a sine and a cosine in terms of sums and differences of sines and cosines. So for example, if alpha and beta are two angles, the sine of alpha times the sine of beta is 1/2 times the quantity cosine alpha minus beta minus cosine of alpha plus beta. So these formulas are actually really pretty straightforward. The derivation is not so straightforward, but these are ones that will be given to you on your formula sheet, so just make sure you are able to apply them. And I have two examples set up here. So first off, if we had the product sine of 5 theta over 2 times cosine of theta over 2. And let's say we wanted to simplify this using a product to sum formula. So this is a sine alpha times cosine beta. Okay, so this is going to be equal to 1/2 times the sine of alpha plus beta. So that's going to be 5 theta over 2 plus theta over 2 is 6 theta over 2. Okay, plus the sine of alpha minus beta. So again, alpha and beta are the angles that are in sine and cosine. So that's going to be 5 theta over 2 minus theta over 2 is 4 theta over 2. Okay, that is to say, this will simplify to 1/2 times the sine of 3 theta plus the sine of 2 theta. Okay. So that's all there is to it. Really the only problem you can run into with these sorts of questions is overthinking it and trying to continue to simplify. Really all we're doing with this kind of problem is using the appropriate formula, and then we might get something in the sines that we can simplify down, like 6 theta over 2 is 3 theta. But once you have that sum of sines, the only other thing we could do is distribute through the 1/2 and write it as 1/2 sine 3 theta plus 1/2 sine 2 theta. But that's all we want to do then. So let's just do that last step. We could write this as 1/2 sine 3 theta plus 1/2 sine 2 theta. And then we've written this as a sum of two sines. We've applied the formula. We're done. Similarly, we can do this with actual numbers put in for our angles. So let's say we wanted to do the sine of 75 degrees times the sine of 15 degrees. Okay, so now this is a sine alpha times sine beta. So this is going to be 1/2 times the cosine of their difference. This is going to be 75 degrees minus 15 degrees is 60 degrees. So that's our alpha minus beta, 75 minus 15, minus the cosine of alpha plus beta is 75 times 15, or plus 15 rather, is 90. Okay, so our alpha minus beta is 60 degrees, alpha plus beta is 90 degrees. So this is going to be 1/2 times the cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. Cosine of 90 degrees is 0. So we get 1/2 times the quantity 1/2 minus 0 is 1/4. Okay. So that's all there is to it for product to sum formulas. So this is going to be a fairly short video. I'm going to reset the board, and then we'll talk about the sum to product formulas, which is what happens if we take these formulas and run them backwards.